Okay.
Don't make me start talking about how long you take in the bathroom, Constipato. If you were a Spanish luchador, that'd be your name, Constipato.
All right.
They're all slack, you fucking moron!
What the hell?
Dude, it's supposed to be tranquil and you interrupted. Can we go again?
I mean, that sounded like death, but...
I'll do it quieter. Sorry, let me use the other side. Let me do it quieter.
Oh my god.
You hearing this?
Yeah. I thought I wasn't supposed to talk, though.
Welcome to the podcast, everybody. This is Screen Share, a movie podcast about...
Fucking shit up with your...
No, we gotta restart.
Taruk Makto.
Is that what he's called?
Yeah, when he
At
gets
the
the
end?
big one.
Okay, I was going to say fucking shit with your hair. But, actually, maybe this will be the first point I make. They removed that scene.
Oh, did they take that out of the... Did you watch it on Disney Plus?
I watched it on Disney Plus. They literally... Because how the scene usually happens is they, like, confess their love for each other, and then they start kissing, and then they connect their hair, and then they start kissing more intimately, and then it moves on to the next scene.
Oh.
What happened in the Disney Plus cut was they started kissing, and then they literally just did a crossfade, like, to skip just the part where they connect their hair. So I don't know if that's something they removed. I did some research.
No, they removed that.
Yeah, apparently there was a theatrical edition, a standard edition, and then an extended edition. The theatrical edition included that scene. The standard edition does not, which apparently is the version that is on Disney Plus and I think on the Blu-ray apparently. And then the extended edition, which includes it, and then also adds a little scene of like Jake Sully on Earth at the beginning of the movie.
And they go even further in the extended too.
Yeah.
They connect tails as well.
Is that true?
No. I think I watched the extended version then.
Okay. Because did you see the little bit? Scene. What was the Jake Sully bit at the beginning? Was he like in this like Blade Runner 2049 looking ass place?
Oh no, then I probably watched the theatrical.
Because I
just saw him like roll,
after.
see his brother, and
oh yeah, that's in the regular version.
Okay,
but so you maybe saw the theatrical cut, or maybe you just didn't notice that the scene wasn't there. But I was like, wait, they didn't connect their hair.
Trust me, I know the scene was there.
But here's the thing. I looked it up, and all of the like comments on the Reddit thread about it when someone was like, did they remove the scene? Were like, well, yeah, they removed it because everyone realized how weird it is that he fucked the flying thing. And the guy was like, but he didn't. The hair thing isn't them having sex. It's them like... It's becoming
like a
one
connection.
And like finding a deeper connection and
it's like the I see you thing.
But the guy was
you
like,
see into each other.
Well, no, like because if they did that as like a sex thing, then that means that he basically like forcibly had sex with the flying thing. It's like, no, that's not what that. Anyway, so and there were like many comments like that being like, that's the reason it was removed. And if that's true, that's
Disney's
stupid.
kind of prudish.
Yeah, probably. Anyway, I noticed that, and I'm kind of bummed, not because I was, like, looking forward to because people do know it as, like, the hair sex thing, because that's kind of what it seems like it is.
It's like the cultural thing, yeah.
Sure, like, it was made fun of and joked about, but watching the movie, and maybe no, I don't even feel like the context of the second one even makes this true. I think the context of this one makes it true, that, like we were saying, it's not... It's more of like forming a deeper connection thing.
Yeah.
So
because they still have bits and bobs.
Yeah.
Because they cover them.
Yeah. So I was only a little bit. I was a little bit.
I mean, Natiri barely.
I was a little bit bummed that wasn't in there because it felt like they removed a cool lore and story element for what reason. Because it's also only like 4 seconds long. So
it's also the thing.
Couldn't have been a time thing.
There's that Gen Z thing where they're like, there's no reason to ever have a sex scene in a movie. And I'm like, I don't think that's necessarily true.
I don't think that's necessarily
Like,
true. Also, it wasn't a sex
porn.
scene.
Yeah.
They literally kissed and then they cut the cut. Like, that's literally the scene. I don't know.
Yeah.
I was just a little bummed about that and very surprised at how many people had the worst take on it ever.
You know what I just realized?
What?
The Na'vi, ratio-wise, pretty small meat on them.
Yeah, they're generally slender.
He doesn't wear like a very... No, I mean like they're not packing as much heat as one would expect.
Oh, I see.
Because he's wearing quite a small cloth, and you know there's never any flyouts or anything. So either they got that thing strapped down.
I wonder if it like emerges or ejects. Or like maybe they're
I would
all
hope
growers, not showers to the max. You know what I mean?
Avatar.
Are you Googling Avatar penis?
Genitals?
That is. Yeah, there it is.
The Na'vi don't appear to have genitals. Do they conceive through the bond? Avatar Wiki goes into a surprising amount of detail. They have sexual reproduction like other mammals. Connecting their head tentacles is erotic and bonds them for life, but doesn't actually make babies.
Yeah.
According to cast members' interviews, they do have genitals. They're just always slightly out of sight. Okay.
Yeah. That makes sense.
So that...
Because they also have like there's they all have small butts as well. There's the point where Jake switches from his regular clothes to his Na'vi clothes, and he's like trying to cover up his butt because he's like, "Oh, I'm embarrassed," and it's like it's a little thing. And also, there's not really any Na'vi women that like are
buxom.
Yeah, that's genuinely the word I was looking for.
Yeah, they're quite slender. I think it's because they're just running around all the time, though.
Sure. I also think it's probably just like a genetic thing within the species.
Carbon fiber bones or whatever.
Yeah. Anyway, didn't expect to jump into so much actual Avatar talk off the bat. And sorry for the rough intro. I was expecting to hit the bowl. You have a silent reaction, and then we go into the intro. I didn't expect you to immediately go, "What the fuck is that?" and me have to like figure out what I was doing.
Well, it was it sounded like a nightmare. I thought the drones were striking.
I am a little scared for what it sounds like just through my regular recording.
We'll see. I thought Hegseth was coming for me.
I mean, he is, but that's kind of just unrelated.
I got a couple topics here.
Okay.
Christmas is starting.
Yep.
Had my first family Christmas.
Wow, already? Okay.
I mean, I got 3 to do,
That's
and we space them out. I got a bread maker.
That's cool.
This relates to another point. I made my first loaf today.
Okay. Was it good?
No.
Yeah.
It was absolutely fucked. Looked like the Toxic Avenger. I think it made me a little sick because it was so dense. So I probably need to put more liquid in it.
Also sounds possibly undercooked, no?
I don't know.
Was it gooey at all?
No.
Okay.
It was just like tight. Like I think it was too tight, and I don't think it was viscous. What's the opposite of viscous? It didn't have the right viscosity. He doesn't have it.
No, I don't have it.
To mold into a proper bread shape, so it kind of looked like Mars. It was very crunchy on the crust, very crunchy crust, a crunchy crust. So any thoughts on homemade breads or things
I've
of the
received
sort?
some homemade breads as gifts before. And I will say, like, there's some people who I've received homemade breads from who the first bread or two was not great. And where it was, like, super hard crust like you're talking about. The inside bread was, like, just fine. And then they got better, obviously.
I think
and then there's some
a
people I
learning
received
curve.
bread from, and I was like, damn, this is just good off the bat. I got a sourdough bread that we got as a gift sitting in the freezer right now.
That's sacrilege.
I was just about to say, I hope that's not like bread maker sacrilege.
Well, I mean, it's probably fine. You aren't.
It's more just
I
like
don't wanna
we're
be
not
rude
eating a
off the
whole
bat,
loaf
but you're
of.
not the most cultured.
Okay, not to be rude off the bat.
Not to be that guy.
It's more just like we're not eating a whole sourdough loaf before it starts to get
That's
bad.
fair. I think they stay good for a while though. But this
Yeah.
bread maker does also mix the things for you, so I think there is a sort of learning curve there. Like you put all the stuff in and then it mixes, and then it cooks it as well.
So it's probably not even you've got to figure out how to make bread. It's you've got to figure out how to optimize your bread maker.
yeah, I think it's really. I don't want to say nightmare, but it's going to be something that haunts me while I'm sleeping.
Good gift then is one that causes you to say
I
it'll
mean,
be
I
a
asked.
nightmare to use.
I asked for it. I asked for it. Had our first big
and not
snow
you
as well.
asked for a bread maker. You were just asking for it. They were
I
like,
was
"Oh, this
asking-
guy's fucking
I
asking
was
for it."
asking for it. I was asking for it, and I
And
got
you
punished.
you got pounded.
We did get our first big snowfall. How was
Yeah.
your snow shoveling today?
Yeah, I don't know if
I know you
saw it.
love that part of the year.
So here's the thing. I don't even mind snow shoveling. The issue is we have a double driveway
What?
that's also like triple deep. Don't know if that... It's not it's just like deeper than the average driveway. Because it goes
Let's
all
get
the way
some
to the
stats up on that.
backyard.
Fact check that, please.
So it's just frustrating how much there is, and my main sticking point with shoveling the driveway is when it's snowing. So I'm like, oh, I'll shovel after it's done snowing, and then I look at the forecast, and it's like, not only will it be snowing all day, but it will be snowing all week. And I'm like, oh,
Hey, look,
awesome, love that.
The human makes plans and God laughs, kind of a thing, you know? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway,
But
I
anyway,
had to go get some
I don't.
salt today.
Yeah, I'm almost out of salt. I gotta get more salt. But yeah, it just kind of sucks. I feel like your driveway would probably be a little bit treacherous because it's a little sloped, but that might help with like getting the snow off, wouldn't it?
No.
No.
The snow sits on the driveway. What do you mean? Like it's going to slide off?
Well, I just mean like you have a direction to go. You're not shoveling that shit uphill.
I'm fascinated by this take.
What, you just never thought about that?
If you can go uphill, you can always go downhill.
Yeah, so I'm saying
never
you're
have to
probably going
shovel uphill.
downhill
Yeah.
with the snow.
Yeah, but what do you think? It's not that steep. It's like a
Dude,
10
it's
or
basically
15
a 90 degree
slope.
angle.
That is true. It's hard to park. It
Sorry,
is hard
wait,
to
sorry.
park.
I'm thinking from like being on top of your roof
Yeah.
and then jumping down. That's a 90 degree.
well,
angle.
because you did try to do a Santa Claus thing to me.
Yeah, I tried
And
to
I
spook
told
ya.
you, I'm going to light a fire in there. I'm going to light a fire in that chimney. And I'm
And
gonna
I said,
put
no, you won't,
pitchforks."
and jumped down. And in the time it took for me to fall, you lit a whole fire.
Well, I've been practicing for Survivor, so.
Yeah.
Uh,
But anyway,
You know
I
who
hate,
else was
I hate
practicing for
shoveling
Survivor?
snow. That's it. Who?
The Bride, because I recently saw Kill Bill, The Whole Bloody Affair.
How was it?
And it was long.
Well,
I
yeah.
got there at 6:30, started promptly, and was out of there by 10, maybe 11.
That's not horrible. It's long, obviously, but
Yeah. There were some changes made.
Oh,
The
interesting.
fight scene with the Crazy 88 is not black and white for the most part, or well, at all. Remember, it was black and white. It goes to black and white.
Yeah, that feels like a. I feel like I wouldn't like that change.
There's an extended scene in the anime where she kills the guy who's like the henchman of the mob boss, and it's actually pretty good. I feel like there's a lot more Bill in part 2. Like they really show him at the beginning. And he has this scene where he talks to Bud that kind of looks like shit from all of Bill's shots because it looked like green screened or something.
Okay.
And then I think there was some music changes too, which I wasn't really vibing with, honestly. But overall, it was nice to see it in theaters, I think.
Yeah. I don't really understand why a lot of studios do that when they're like, we're re-releasing this classic and everyone's like really excited to see it in theaters, and then they're like, but it's different. You like it the way it is, but we changed it.
This is like kind of a Tarantino director's cut more than a studio thing.
Okay.
Where this is the version that he had that only he had access to and would show people. But then he was like, okay, we can release it. So it is more in his vision, I guess.
Well,
but I think the original two parts, I think I like a little better.
Better as they are separately.
Yeah. Well, even just watching them back to back, I think it kind of flows better.
Well, kind of on that topic of directors changing shit from their classic beloved films. I don't know if you saw, but finally, for the love of God, praise be, the original theatrical cut of the original Star Wars is being released next year. I think next year.
In theaters?
Yes. Now, so the lore behind this is for decades now at this point. Well, kind of since ever. The only way to watch the original theatrical cut of Star Wars was to have either seen it in theaters in 1977 or break into the like fucking library where they keep important media and shit. What's that called? What's that library? The important
the Library of Congress or something?
Yes, or something. I think so.
What the hell?
There's a big library in the U.S. where they like have a bunch of shit.
Okay.
Is that the Library of Congress?
I'm not
Maybe.
American.
This feels worth Googling. Library where
so there was
Star Wars.
You basically had to do
is.
something illegal or time travel to see the original version of the movie. They didn't even release like VHS like right after of
No. So that's the thing. There was literally a whole fan project called the Despecialized Editions, where a bunch of fans got together, and it was one guy like heading it, but he got a lot of help. And they basically pulled a bunch of different sources, like fucking Laserdisc, Blu-rays, DVDs, special edition and not, like, and pulled all these things together to try and like piece together what the original theatrical cut was, and then like scale up the resolution and all that stuff, clean it up. But that's been like as close as you could get, because literally upon release of home copies, George Lucas changed some shit. And then special editions were released in theaters. He changed shit. And then the DVD editions were released. He changed a little bit of shit. Then the Blu-rays were released. He changed a little more shit. And then the 3D versions started to get released in theaters, and he changed a little bit of shit in those as well. And it's like, George Lucas, visionary, genius, whatever, can't stop meddling in his own... It's kind of like a classic thing of like, no one knows and understands Star Wars as well as George Lucas, but no one understands why people like Star Wars less than George Lucas. Like he he's always messing with his shit and adding stuff. Like, his whole thing was like, well, I don't want people, because people were always like, release the original cut. People want to see what people saw in 1977, the thing that actually like blew up and gained all of this popularity and blah blah blah. And he was always like, yeah, but that cut wasn't my
Do the
vision.
George Lucas voice.
That cut wasn't my vision. I don't really have a George Lucas, but he was like, I used to. I've lost it. Same with the Trump one. Anyway, but so yeah, he'd always be like, the theatrical cut was not my vision. My vision is this version. And then he'd be like, well, actually, a little bit of this. Like, his argument was like, I didn't have the technology to fully like see my ideas through, but now the technology does exist, so I'm changing it. And what did he change? Throws a fucking CGI character that just walks across screen in front of the original cut.
Oh yeah.
Throws a random alien saying an extra line that doesn't add any context or anything. Disrupts the flow. Like, it's all meaningless, weird shit, and he just has always refused to ever release that original cut. And now finally, for the 50th anniversary, I believe it is, they're finally or I guess it'll be in 2027 then, but they're finally going to release A New Hope as its like theatrical cut release. People are going to be able to see it. I'm very excited about it. A little part of me still has this doubt that they're still going to change some shit. What?
Wouldn't Disney be releasing it?
Yes. But I still just have this little seed of doubt that's like,
you can't trust
they're not going to do it. They're not going to do actually what we want. But I hope that they do.
I have a take, mostly that George Lucas doesn't really have any feats as a director.
Okay.
Like, I don't know, man. First Star Wars, THX, American Graffiti.
Those are the two that you could argue.
That what?
That they're feats.
And then the prequels.
Yeah.
It's
and he also
like,
had a movie, I think, called like Red Skies or something that was.
Yeah, Red Dawn, which is a remake of another fighter movie where they like, I think they had like Russia or something as the villain, and then they had to switch it to North Korea.
I don't know.
In post. But he has no feats, honestly. If we're talking about like greatest directors,
well,
he's one of the most
a lot
successful.
of his other feats is as a producer, like
I guess
Indiana Jones, a few
I
other
could produce
things, Willow.
Hey, if I knew Spielberg, I'd be one of the best producers of all time too.
Okay, that's fair. But anyway, I'm just very excited to finally get something that should have just been a thing the whole time.
That's fair.
But
I'm hoping that we one day get something that I think we'd both like in the Batman Part 2.
Yeah, I hope it ever comes out.
Because apparently they're still casting. And also Zoe Kravitz isn't in it, but maybe Scarlett Johansson is.
Yeah.
Which I'm kind of like, what the fuck is that? Like,
I'm fine with Zoe Kravitz not being in it because I feel like her character was kind of wrapped up a little bit in the first one, even though I'd rather she be in it. But I'm
kind of out on ScarJo as a.
You've never really been in on ScarJo, brother. I feel like we've literally had conversations where you're like, ScarJo, kind of shit, not a real movie star, kind of shit. Like for years.
Yeah. I think
probably on this podcast. Probably in the Marriage Story episode.
Well, I think part of it is like she has no feats. Should I just say that about everyone?
Yeah.
Natiri, no feats.
Yeah.
Anyway. I don't know. I think I'm just kind of like, she feels very meat and potatoes as an actor to me.
Okay.
And
she keeps defending fucking Woody Allen, or is it Roman Polanski?
Really? Either one. They're both bad.
Whichever one. She just like keeps. I think like 5 or so years ago she did an interview where she was like, I believe he's innocent. And everyone was like, what the hell? And then she kind of didn't talk on it for a while. And then like last week I saw that she did an interview where she was like, yeah, I think he's innocent. And everyone's like, what the fuck? Just don't say anything.
How
if
is
that's
Colin
true.
letting her say that?
I don't know. Letting?
Well, at some point, if you're with someone and they're saying some crazy shit, you got to be like, okay.
Well, I think she's friends
Don't
with...
say that to the press.
I think she's friends with
She
him.
has been in a couple Woody Allen movies, so
Okay, then it's
I
probably...
would be surprised.
Scarlett Johansson, Woody Allen.
Roman Polanski, he got thrown out pretty hard.
Yeah, she said in an interview, I love Woody, I believe him, I would work with him anytime. Which is interesting.
Yeah. You know, the Woody Allen one is interesting because he did adopt the child and then have sex with the child.
Yeah, it's not great.
Later in life. So it's probably not...
Better
I
or
don't
worse
know.
than the Karl Malone situation?
I think... I don't know.
We don't need to have... I think this is not a conversation.
You don't want that
worth
to be a
having.
segment?
No. I don't want Spotify to label a chapter as who's worse,
Karl
Woody
Malone
Allen
versus Woody
or
Allen.
Karl Malone. Yeah.
Well, here's another, topic then. I've got two more for you.
Okay.
John Boyes, you know him, made you
Sure.
watch his Seattle Mariners documentary in the
Yeah.
previous iteration of this podcast. Got a new series
Same
coming
podcast.
out. Well, it's like, again, we're still within the uterus on this version of it, though.
Sure.
About the internet. First part dropped about the telegraph machine. Yep.
I think telegraphs sent
Morse.
telegrams.
Very interesting. Mr. Morse and his code.
Yeah.
But was it actually the Morse's code is a question. But it uses like Home Improvement as an allegory, kind of. Tim the Toolman Taylor and I forget the other guy's name. But it's quite a good video, so go find that on the Secret Base thing if you're interested. That's kind of it. And then last thing, I'm done with streaming services.
Me too.
I think I'm just...
That actually perfectly segues into the first note I wrote, which was I literally got a fucking ad before my Disney Plus film started. I was able to skip it with no timer, so that is worth mentioning, but I just re-upped my Disney Plus subscription. I kind of wanted to cancel it, but then I went to everyone who's on the account and was like, hey, guys, I'm thinking of canceling it, but wanted to check in with everyone first, and everyone was like, please keep doing it. Please keep doing it. Please, Adam, please. I was like, fuck, okay. So we're doing one more year.
We were begging.
Yeah. You weren't. You were like, I don't even fucking use it, but I think my wife does.
Yeah.
So that's literally... Anyway. But, so we re-upped it. So I literally just re-upped for a new year of subscription. Plan has not changed. Like, I haven't changed with the plan that I was on, but the price did go up somewhat significantly. Yet now I'm getting an ad for the new season of Percy Jackson before I watch Avatar. That is scummy bullshit, and I hate it. I am also kind of done with streaming services. Honestly, kind of not just for film and TV. I'm also kind of done with fucking music streaming services. Mostly because they like keep... Mostly Spotify, but kind of all of them. They just keep turning out to be shit. As like behind the scenes, both in how they operate, like what they support, what they're throwing their money at, which isn't artists, by the way. Like Spotify sending millions of dollars of investments into like a fucking military weapons manufacturer, but then not paying. Oh, and obviously investing a ton of shit into generative AI and then not paying artists literally a dime for their work. It's like, fuck off. Anyway, but
Yeah.
streaming services as far as like film TV, I'm like way more down the pipeline of being done with them, just because they're getting more expensive, but they're also getting more shit. And there's so many ways to watch what you want to watch without them.
Yeah. And I think the only difference between the music and the video stuff is there is still some advantage to the discoverability
Yes.
that a music streaming service allows, whether for podcasts or music. And the only video streaming thing that allows for that really is YouTube.
Yeah.
Other than that, like Twitch isn't really, you're not going to find anyone you don't find somewhere else on Twitch.
Yeah.
And then
well,
all
the Twitch
of
stat
course,
is like the top, or I think it's like less than 0.1% of live view like channels on Twitch at any given time have more than 2 viewers.
yeah.
And
like
it's
unless someone has to either be famous before they start Twitch, not and like famous in quotes, like
just known
obviously.
enough, have a
Or
following.
they need some like clips somewhere else to really pop off.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, that's
but
the
even
thing.
then,
Honestly,
Twitch
like
streaming
I'm
is
not
kinda
much of a
demonic, so.
and it's like really devolved. Like I feel like you and I used to watch like a relative amount of Twitch. Like I had a few channels that I'd watch like semi-regularly, and by semi-regularly I mean like maybe 2 days a week I'd sit down and watch for a couple hours. But like I'm at the point like I don't go on Twitch at all. I'm still like kind of in the space just because I think through TikTok and Reddit I get some like stuff like that. Like most of the streamers I've discovered in the past year or so have been through TikTok, but I just watch them and support them on TikTok. Like
No, it doesn't make much sense to go to Twitch.
Yeah, and the streamer awards happened recently, and it was a fuck show, man.
Yeah.
Like, they did it last year as well, and it wasn't that bad. It was like, there were a few awkward moments, but for the most part, it went pretty well. This year, it was just full of, like, awkward, uncomfortable moments. So, this is, like, from last year to this year, I just could really tell that there was, like, an ego change a little bit in the, like, streamer space, where, like, now all the streamers there who are, like, involved, like, think they're like top shit,
real celebrities.
Yeah, and it's like starting like a lot of the criticisms of other award shows where it's like it's just a big circle jerk. Like it really felt like that this time.
Well, I think for award shows that's par for the course.
Yeah,
like they're just getting to where a normal award show is. My problem is more with like the weird racial
that is
stuff, and also just the fact that they're not playing it off kind of like award shows do, where they don't seem like the popular kids. I don't know. I saw someone make a comment that was like, it's like watching the popular kid who thinks they're funny give a presentation and no one's laughing.
Well, I don't. I've seen some stuff about like, like this kind of applies to like any sort of popular person, but like I've seen things about like pretty girl humor, where it's like, it's not like actual inventive, clever, funny stuff. It's a lot of stuff that's just like, I don't even really know how to describe it, but it's usually something that is borrowed from somewhere else and used in a way that just draws attention because they're looking for attention. This year's Streamer Awards very much felt that way, because at least last year, at least to me, it kind of felt like, obviously there's a little bit of a circle jerky aspect. You're giving out awards to yourselves, but like at least it felt a little bit like, oh, we are coming together. This is a streamer run event for
More
streamers.
like community oriented.
Yeah, it felt like it's like we are celebrating our community and those in our community. This one very much felt like, especially because there was like drama around nominees and winners. It's like, who gives a fuck? So it's like, it really felt like people were like, it matters. And it's like, it
When,
kind
like,
of
it
needs
doesn't.
to not matter for it to matter at all, if that makes sense. Like, as soon as the people involved care a lot, it's like, ugh, it's hard for me to care.
I mean, also, I don't think these people like they know, obviously, but they don't realize like their whole fan bases are like parasocial 12-year-olds.
yeah.
It's
Well,
not
I think
like
they
they're
know
like,
it. I think they don't think
but
about
they
it.
act
and
like it means
deny
that they're real celebrities when it's like you got 12-year-olds watching you, and that's fine. That's like allowed.
And
It's more like you're not Tom Cruise.
Yeah. And it's very
Right?
high school. Like half of Twitch is drama. Like, there is always drama, but also there's like always there's like cliques, there's like,
Yeah.
it's
I
very
think-
very weird.
A lot of these people are just like degenerates.
Yes.
That's such a blanket statement, but like there's a lot of like degenerate people who end up streaming for 20, not to be rude, but like whole months. Like, why are you doing that for a whole month aside from just trying to extract as much money as you can from the 12-year-old fan base that you have?
Well, that's the
Like-
thing. It's all people who are not only chronically online, but also kind of in an echo chamber where every day they're going on a channel where they have like literally dozens of messages flashing on the screen every second that are like gassing them
Telling
up
them
and
how
telling
good
them
they
they're
are.
right and how great they are. Like, it totally makes sense. And the truth is, like, a lot of these people are like entering or in their 30s, and they're like doing this like high school shit. It's very weird. I also think that like you said, I don't want to just call a like blanket statement, call a bunch of people degenerates, but like, it is this thing where this kind of new wave of streamer is like, I don't know, it's just not my thing. They're like, I don't want to say names because I also just don't
They're
want to
just kind of clip
attention.
farming constantly.
Clip farming, rage baiting, like, it's just, I don't know. And they like feed into this parasocial shit and
And
then
they don't
act
even
like
play
they don't have
fucking
responsibility for
games.
it. And they don't play games. Anyway, there's good streamers out there.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, to shout a few out, Northern Lion's good. I think Squeaks is good. I think Vanilla Mason, KDB are good.
I think
Big
Internet
KDB
Sasha.
fan.
You heard of him?
Yeah.
I like him. Slow Puke.
I've not heard of
She's
Slow
good.
Puke.
She's pretty good.
There's one that I see on TikTok a lot. She was nominated for best vertical streamer, which is like, I guess, TikTok stream. Anyway, she's very good. Great to shout someone out without knowing their name. But anyway, there's good ones out there. It's just, it feels like the mainstream streamer space is just so much more devolved than I feel like it used to be.
Vertical streamer. What the hell?
Yeah.
Oh well, doesn't really matter. I can't even fathom of that being a category.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Well, now I feel bad. It is Last Tishen.
all right.
She didn't win though. Anyway,
Cancel your just fucking subscription services, man.
cancel your subscription services.
There are other ways to watch.
Don't
things.
watch Twitch streamers.
I mean, you can if you
You
want,
can,
but
if
like
you find a good one.
you can.
anyway.
You don't have to cancel your shit, but like
Also, we
with
are
what they're
nearing
doing to us.
we are nearing 40 minutes
That's kind
into
of
the pod.
that's kind of our MO.
It is kind of our MO. I'd like to change that. I feel like 25 minutes is good.
What about 50?
Okay. Because, can I be honest? A trend I've noticed is whatever amount of time we take to do the little blurb before we start talking about the actual movie is the amount more than an hour we will do in the podcast. So we've like pretty consistently been talking for an hour about each movie, but like if we yap at the beginning, it's going to be an hour 40. If we don't yap that much, it'll be like an hour 15.
Now, here's the interesting thing about this movie is it came out in 2009, and if you'd like a little summary of what happens, let me give it to you. Jake Sully, he's on Earth. His brother, killed for the paper in his
Which
wallet.
I forgot he had a brother, and that was like an important part of this.
It makes you think, really. Mm-hmm. Jake Sully, no legs. Well, he does have legs, but they don't work.
Yeah.
Probably because he was in the military, a Marine, some would say. He's shot up to Pandora on a rocket ship because he has the same genetics as his brother, his twin brother. And they've made an avatar, and a version of a Na'vi that is made with some human genetics that can be connected to through these pods. And Jake Sully, is going to do this. So he works. He explores Pandora a little bit.
Am I allowed to jump in if you're drowning, or do I gotta let you?
I've never drowned. You're the bad swimmer. And he gets entangled while out on a mission. Entangled, and he is saved by a tall blue woman. Ay. She shoots some arrows at some little dog kind of things. Kills him, and then
He's
she
sad
takes
about
him.
it.
Well, come on, let's.
Sorry,
I didn't know
won't
you were
interrupt
interrupting.
a single other time.
Yeah. Well, you kind of just did there.
Yeah, so I'm saying I won't another time.
And again.
But you weren't talking that time.
And again, and again, and again, and again, and again. I don't know. He joins the Na'vi. His mission is to get them out of this big tree that they live in, so that the military, or I guess the company and their paramilitary.
Yeah, it seems I said I wouldn't interrupt again, but it seems like it's some sort of corporation.
And you did.
Yeah. It seemed at first I was like, oh, it's the U.S. government, but he has a line where he's like, most of these people used to be in the military, but now they're just working for the corporation to try and get some money. So it's like, oh, is it literally just is this like Amazon
it's just like a
sent a
operation.
big like spaceship
It's like
to
the
go
oil.
get some shit?
It's like oil refining and shit.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. But they just need a military because there's this big blue motherfuckers.
Yeah.
And they want the unobtainium, which I realized. Well, here's the thing. I realized that it's named unobtainium because the company named it. That's not actually like what it is or what it's called or anything. But people are always like, oh, it's so fucking stupid that they would name it unobtainium. And it's like, yeah, because the corporation's stupid and thoughtless.
And they don't care. Yeah, they don't care.
Yeah. But people always are. We'll get into the whole cultural impact and whatever. So through Jake's mission, he kind of becomes a Na'vi in this avatar body. But still, he's kind of splitting his time between being human and being Na'vi. And he realizes that the company isn't really going to stop at anything to get the unobtainium that they need or want or desire.
And in doing so, in that process, also, in large part due to the fact that he gets his legs back and can have legs again, but not fully that. Also because he's being integrated into the culture and he meets Natiri, blah, blah, blah. Like, he also starts to have this thing where he's like, I feel like my real life has turned into like the shit that I don't want to do, and this like mission that I'm doing as a Na'vi is kind of turning into my actual real life. So it's like all blurring together, and he's like having this kind of crisis, but he's also still helping the military. It's like very. He kind of sucks a little bit in this movie, to be honest, for a bit, but he gets there.
Which I think is fair with how they characterize him, but we can talk about that a little bit. Anyway,
yeah,
they start attacking the Na'vi, And then Jake brings the troops together to fight against the corporation. Basically, that's like the last 45 minutes of the movie is the battle between the corporation and Jake. There's some other stuff where Grace dies, played by Sigourney Weaver. Mm-hmm. She's kind of the head of the Avatar program, and she has fallen in love with Pandora and all the people and all that. And then at the end of the movie, Jake has fought off the corporation and is being completely transferred into the Na'vi body. Mm-hmm. Off the rip, this is an absolute banger. I forgot how good this movie was.
So let me read my overall thoughts here. Certainly long, but far better than I remembered. This movie is best when Jake is Na'vi, so this movie feels a little slow at times given how much Jake has to be human in this. But I also think that I appreciate this movie more having seen The Way of Water, which I do think is true. I think that The Way of Water expands a lot of what this movie sets up, so having that knowledge makes this movie like easier to appreciate. But this movie's far better than I remembered. I mentioned at the end of last episode that like I've kind of been an Avatar 1 hater a little bit, mostly because when I originally watched it, I was like, it's long, it's kind of boring, the protagonist is forgettable and boring, and it's only popular and successful financially because it was like a big 3D showcase when it came out. Yeah. Which I still believe is true to, like, I still think kind of all of that is true to some extent. That being said, like, maybe it's just because I'm older and able to, like, pay attention and retain it more, but, like, a lot of the lore and world building shit in this movie is excellent. Anytime it's Jake Sully narrating over a montage of like him learning and integrating into the Na'vi culture and all this shit, like that's great. And like we'll get into it with The Way of Water, but like one of my favorite parts of that movie is literally the intro of the movie where Jake is narrating, filling us in on what's happened since this movie, and it's just him going through like he had kids, he like became leader, like all the like won't get into it too much because that's next episode, but like that's the shit I liked in the second movie. That's also what I really liked in this movie. So I think I was able to appreciate the lore, the world building, the characters, the culture. Like it's very honestly, I was thinking a lot about Ghost of Yote while watching this because there's this group of people in that game called the Ainu, and they're kind of this like indigenous group that like has all of this like cultural significance, and they're also kind of being like pushed out of their land, but like they have all this culture, and you just learn all of these terms and all of these like different important like artifacts and locations and stuff, and it just felt very similar to that in this, where I'm like, every time that Neytiri like introduced Jake to a new creature or a new tradition or something, I felt like I cared a lot about that. In a way that I don't think I did appreciate as much in the previous times I've watched this film. But it honestly just made me really fucking excited for next week, and then also for Fire and Ash.
Yeah, and I think it's just, we talk about directors with feats. Mm-hmm. James Cameron has some fucking feats. He's got the first Terminator, Aliens, Terminator 2, The Abyss, True Lies, Titanic, all before this. And then it takes 11 years to make Avatar. And then another, 20, or another 11 for, even more. 13 or something for 14 for Way of Water. But the movies are expertly paced.
Yeah.
look beautiful.
Well, that's the thing. This is a long movie, and I do think Avatar 1 has more moments where it feels slow than I think Avatar 2 does. But, like, it doesn't feel like it's an hour or 2 hours 48. It feels like it's maybe like 2 hours 10. Like,
yeah. It feels shorter than John Wick 3.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, certainly.
I kind of watched it in chunks just because of how my week was working, but I was like excited to start watching it again.
Yeah.
Like I hadn't seen this in a long time, and I was like head over heels in love with this, watching this movie.
Yeah.
I think the world building is like some of the best that a sci-fi movie has done this century, for sure.
Which
like it's kind of,
I think something that this movie gets criticized for a lot, which I think is similar to like the hair sex point, is like people being like the blue cat people. Mm-hmm. And it's like that, similar to the hair sex thing, is just kind of a way to minimize a very cool aspect of the movie. Like with the hair sex thing, it's like you're calling it hair sex, but the truth is that it's like this deep, like, connective bond that like not only speaks through two people, but like speaks to all living things, like through this like idea of, what was it, Awa?
yeah,
where like it is this being that like connects it all and is it all. And it's like, that's such a cool idea. Same with the cat people thing, where it's like, I've always kind of looked at it as like, it's cool that it's like a future Earth that like goes to this planet and there's this whole like species with this culture, blah blah blah. But I never really looked at it as like how cool of an idea it is that like future humanity can't give up its colonizing imperialist like like ways, and like goes to this beautiful planet with this beautiful ecosystem, connected culture, and just like, aside from a few people, just like can't comprehend the importance of this culture and this like nature and connectivity. Like there's a point where Sigourney Weaver's character is like gushing to, I forget the guy's name. He's like the guy in charge who looks like kind of a little
Giovanni
twerp
Ribisi.
twink guy.
I forget what his actual name is though.
Which I fucking hated that guy.
Twerp twink guy.
Yeah. Yeah. He seemed to like act it like he had a little bit of a, not redemptive aspect, but like he acted it like there was this tinge of doubt and empathy in what he was doing, but nothing he really said or did like communicated that, except for when he was like, you have an hour to try and get them out of there. That's the only time he ever said or did anything that would suggest that. But anyway, that's just a
I think one thing that kind of brings that character together for me is at the very end, he says to Jake, like,
this isn't the end or something.
Yeah, like, they're going to keep coming, right? Like, this isn't going to end. And it doesn't seem like it's a threat.
No.
It's more of like a regretful warning of like,
that's
it's not
why I'm
gonna
like,
be me, but like they're going to fucking come back.
That's why I'm like, he acted it like he had this sympathetic side, but nothing like that line could have been the exact same, but delivered in a way that it was a threat. It just seems like I hate the character, but I honestly kind of like the performance. I think
the performance is quite good.
The performance adds a lot to what could have just been a throwaway shit character.
Because you've got the different tiers, right? You've got the general guy who is like really just wants to racially cleanse this entire planet of anything that is not human. And honestly, anything that's kind of not a white guy, because he does say at the end, hey, Sully, how does it feel to betray your own race? When it's like, it's not like it's a betrayal of race. The Na'vi aren't humans.
Yeah.
It's a species betrayal. But he thinks of it in like this racial undertone. So this guy is like such a demented,
sucks.
racist dude who keeps
Which-
going deeper and deeper. Where Ribisi, I feel like, kind of is being pulled out slightly by like Grace and everyone, but still can't break that part of like, I need to maximize shareholder value.
Yeah. The second moment actually that what's his name? Ramisi?
Giovanni.
Giovanni.
That's the actor. I don't know what the actual
Okay.
character's name is.
I'll just say
Doesn't really matter,
Giovanni.
I don't think.
The second time or moment that I think he shows a shred of sympathy, which is once again an acting moment and not really a dialogue moment, is like right before they're about to like send the fucking dozers out. And he's just sitting in his office and he's just like kind of like almost solemnly staring at the little chunk of unobtainium and like spinning it, and it seems like he's like contemplating like, is this shit worth doing all of this? And then he kind of, because Quaritch is in his ear, he kind of just like almost like sluggishly gives permission to like move forward.
Yeah.
Like it seems
It's one
like
of those moments where
he's-
it's like you don't want to do something, but it's like, I'm gonna count to 3, and at 3 I'm just gonna do it.
yeah,
Where it's like you kick your body to doing something you don't want to do.
it almost feels like he's from the perspective of like, I don't want to do this, but like it doesn't fucking matter at all. Like it's gonna happen with or without me. So like, why not be a part of it and benefit some way from it? But I do think a little bit at the end when he's being escorted out and he's like, you know that they're gonna keep coming back or whatever. I do think in that moment he's kind of having a realization of like, oh man, Jake did do it. Like,
Yeah. You actually can rebel and be successful.
Yeah, which I do kind of like that beat. But anyway, going
Which
back
is
to
kind
what
of like the whole message that, not to be this guy, but like
No.
the whole message of the entire world
yeah,
that we kind of need is like,
yes,
you don't have to just do something because someone else might end up doing it. Like you can actually like have a moral choice and things, but
yeah.
yeah.
It's like never mind. I'm not gonna. I agree with you. That I think that's
Yeah.
something
We don't
that
have to go
I
deep
think,
into that, but like,
yeah, very important for just in general, but specifically in today's age. But to go back to what I was saying before, there's a point where Sigourney Weaver's character is talking to Giovanni's character, where she's like just gushing to him about the importance of this like neural network in all the trees, and how it's like she's not only talking about it from like a isn't this so beautiful, like isn't this like culture and nature and biology so cool, but she's also talking about it from like a they are like biological like living beings are like downloading software into their minds and like connecting with it all. Like she's explaining it from a like almost speaking his language, trying to explain it from a like technological advancement profitability like side.
Yeah.
Where she's like,
yeah.
the unobtainium, yeah, you can sell that shit for a lot, but like if we could tap into this like neural network connectivity, like all nature is one thing, like there's probably so much past this that we could benefit from. And he's just like, who fucking cares, dude? It's a fucking tree, my dog. And like nobody except Sigourney, Jake, and like
The two
what's
doctors.
his name, Dale, and then the other guy, and Michelle Rodriguez.
Yeah. Who is like, we should talk about the casting in this movie because I think it's quite important.
Yeah,
But she's like perfectly cast in this movie.
I agree.
This is like how you cast Michelle Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Norm is the
Norm.
scientist, tall scientist guy, and then the other guy is having to scroll far down here to.
He wasn't in
to
it
find
much.
that
He was
guy.
kind of a
I mean, he's in it more than a lot
Tertiary.
of these motherfuckers.
that's true.
But
Maybe you
yeah.
scrolled past him. But anyway, there's basically like
I wouldn't
5
do
people who give a single shit about Pandora and its people and its wildlife. Everybody else is kind of on this like dead set mission to literally just raise everything.
They just want to pillage and I guess move on.
There is a moment when they like completely fucking destroy what's it called? All tree? Live tree, the
tree of life or something. Wait, their big tree?
The big tree.
The home tree.
Home tree. Yeah.
Yeah.
When that's like burning, they do have a bit where they show a bunch of people in like the human base looking at the screens and being horrified. And the only person who seems to not give a single shit is Quaritch. And he's literally like, he I noticed this. He goes, "First rounds on me tonight, boys." And I'm like, you just like destroyed a sacred like site of this like entire culture of people, killed many of them, a lot of them women and children. And you made all of these human beings do it. Michelle Rodriguez, Trudy, the only one to back out.
Yeah.
And he's like, "I will buy you guys one round of drinks. Not even drinks are honestly, on me tonight." He's like,
do they even have to buy the drink?
Probably not. Which
like,
that just made me like, you're a fucking shitty guy, man. Obviously, he's a shitty, evil man. But I was like, I don't know. Kind of on the Quaritch point, maybe we can use this to kind of get into characters a little bit. There's kind of this narrative and theory going around, especially after Way of Water, that Quaritch is going to have a redemption arc and is going to like choose to stay Na'vi. I don't like that. He's a well, I guess Quaritch in the second movie is like not Quaritch. It's like his...
It's like a clone or something, right?
Yeah, it's like a clone of him is put into the Na'vi. So like maybe you could argue clone Quaritch like connects more with the Na'vi because that's all he knows or something. Maybe there's some way to pull that. But generally, he's a bad man. Like, he's not good. I'm not really interested in a redemption
We can
arc.
talk. We'll see what happens.
We'll talk next episode. Because a lot of that like redemption arc shit involves Spider, who's nowhere to be seen in this movie. Which I think there's literally a shot at the end when the line of people is leaving onto the plane where that exact shot is in Way of Water. They just pan down a little more and Spider's there. I think. I might be wrong. We'll see next week. But anyway.
We'll see.
We'll get into that.
The other guy's name is Max, by the way.
Max, yeah.
But so a strength of this movie, I think, when it came out, is that Sam Worthington is kind of a blank slate. Like, I couldn't have looked at him and been like, I've seen that guy in something. Now, this did come out in 2009, so I, wasn't watching a ton of movies at the age of 8 or whatever. But like, even looking at his IMDb, he wasn't really in much. And there were some other options that they had. Matt Damon, everyone's heard the story. He turned it down. He was offered 10% of the box office.
Oh, man.
Which is like $250 million. Back then, too, which is even crazier.
Yeah.
Fox wanted Jake Gyllenhaal. Apparently, Chris Pine and Chris Pratt also auditioned.
I think Jake Gyllenhaal and Chris Pine would probably do all right. Chris Pine, I could see in this.
And then the finalists were Worthington, Tatum, and Evans. Now, here's the thing with those other guys. Channing Tatum.
Oh, and then Chris Evans?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I probably should have used their whole names.
Yeah.
The thing with like Chris Pine and Jake Gyllenhaal and Channing Tatum and Chris Evans, and maybe this is because we've seen them for the last like 20 years or whatever, it's just their faces are too kind of pretty and unique. Where with Sam Worthington, he kind of just looks like a guy.
Yeah.
In a
Which,
really
to be
good
honest,
way.
one of the things I wrote down was that when you first see Sigourney Weaver Na'vi, it's like there's not many uncanny valley moments in this, which I was surprised by. That's the only moment that I kind of had like a reaction, because I know what Sigourney Weaver looks like. Like, obviously, I see Sam Worthington on the screen. I know what he looks like, and then I see him as a Na'vi, but I'm kind of like, yeah, okay. With Sigourney Weaver, she comes out, and I'm like, whoa, that's like some like
it is so
weird
like,
Sigourney Weaver, like, which I think
really
is
one-to-one.
because she has like a distinct, recognizable face that I've seen so many times before. I think Sam Worthington, like you're saying, just kind of being a guy actually works. A lot of my criticism of this movie previously has been Sam Worthington is boring, like Jake Sully is boring. But one, I think that works because, like you said, he's a blank slate not only for the viewer, but also so that when he's being integrated into this Na'vi like culture and lifestyle, he can kind of just do that, and then I'm like, this is Jake Sully. Like, the Na'vi Jake Sully is not boring.
The reason he's such a blank slate is because he's so dejected with whatever else has happened in his life. Like, with the Marines becoming paralyzed. Like, he is essentially given up and probably isn't living much past his brother if he doesn't get the call to be sent to Pandora.
That's what the like extended edition like little scene beforehand is. It's like 2 or 3 minutes of him living on Earth, and it's very like Cyberpunk 2077 vibes. He's like literally I think the main thing that happens is he's in a bar and some guy like slaps his girlfriend in front of the entire bar. Everyone sees, nobody does anything, so he goes over and beats the shit out of the guy and then gets thrown out of the bar and is literally lying in a puddle because he can't move because his legs don't work. And then guys in suits show up and they're like, your brother's dead, do you want to join this program? So like literally his life was,
they took that out.
Yeah, it was kind of shit. I think it adds some interesting context, but I think it's context that is not needed.
Enough.
Yeah. And I think honestly, not showing much about what Earth is like at this time is to the movie's benefit. Yeah. It was a little weird. Anyway.
I think this movie is cooked though if it's Matt Damon.
Yeah.
Like, he is just, especially at this point, he is too famous. So you're gonna have the entire time.
Well, didn't he say no to it and yes to the Bourne movies?
He was previously like tied up in the Bourne ultimatum.
Okay.
Like, he had to do that instead, which is good.
Yeah.
It's nothing against Matt Damon, but it's like the uncanny valley thing would be so hard to get over. Like, Zoe Saldana, you don't really notice it. You don't really recognize anyone else who is playing an Na'vi. Norm a little bit. You're kind of like,
Norm a little bit, and then
weird.
Sigourney
but he also
kind
of just looks like that in real life. Like, he is just kind of a big lanky guy.
Well, that's the thing. Na'vi Jake Sully does look like Sam Worthington a little bit. It's just it looks more natural.
It looks incredible. Like, everything in this movie looks so much better.
I do think that consistently, and I think this is true about Way of Water as well, consistently the best looking character is Neytiri. Like, anytime she's on screen, especially if it's like a close-up of some kind, I'm like looking for like a tiny aspect of it that doesn't look real, and I cannot find it. Neytiri consistently looks like picture perfect real to me.
And the thing that's even crazier is they like challenge you. They put like fucking close-ups with crazy lighting.
Them jumping out of water and dripping, their clothes are wet. Neytiri's got braids that are like falling over her shoulder, then back again, and then over her ear, and then back over her shoulder. And I'm like, you don't have to do that. But doing that makes it feel so much more real. And like, I think,
and then
that's
like the human
Na'vi
Na'vi interaction is also incredible. Like, at the end, they do. There's a couple other points, but at the end, when she picks up Jake after he's like been ejected from his pod or whatever and can't reach the mask. And you're like, how does this even work? Like, how is this so believable that even if I'm watching like this movie is so good and looks so good that you could watch it on your phone and still be like fully pulled into it. Like, I'm not trying to,
Which you
bring
did.
up
You
old
probably
scars.
watched it on your iPad Shuffle.
Well,
maybe?
I watched it on my
iPod
laptop.
Shuffle.
Yeah, my iPad Shuffle. Dumbass, you
Man,
fucking
I was
idiot.
hoping you wouldn't notice that I
The
said
screenless
that.
iPad.
I
The
may as well-
screenless iPad. It's this
I mean,
big.
one
It's
of
just
the
got the wheel on it. It's
One
just
of the
this
iPod
big with
Shuffles
the
had a screen.
wheel.
The last iPod Shuffle had a little screen.
Dumbass. Sorry. But you could like literally watch this on your phone and still be like, oh, it looks incredible, and also it's emotionally affecting. Not to open up old scars, but like there are some movies. There are most movies where you cannot do that. Like K-pop Demon Hunters, when I was talking about it, I was like, if I saw it on a big screen, music was loud, all that, I think it would work better. I don't think it matters how
With
you
this
watch
movie.
Avatar. To
I
be
do
honest.
think that like, which by the way, when we're seeing Fire and Ash, is it IMAX or is it just?
Yeah.
Fuck, I'm gonna come.
Like it's better.
But that's
To
the
watch-
thing. Like watching this shit in IMAX, Dolby Atmos, like all that shit. Obviously, that's gonna be the peak experience. But like, I was watching the shit on my TV, and I was like, and it's like not. It's like
It's a good
probably
TV,
like a 43-inch TV.
think
It's
it's
not even
55.
native
Be nice to
4K.
yourself.
It's like fucking upscale, weird, like tech 4K.
It's 45.
And I was still
Yeah,
like,
it's 45.
boing, like this is looking good, man. Like,
Yeah.
there's like, I could probably think off the top of my head of maybe 3 times that I ever was like, I'm noticing the effects there. Like,
Yeah, but then you're also like, oh, we've had the 45 minutes of runtime fully in Pandora where I haven't noticed
yeah,
anything.
exactly.
Like honestly, the worst effects in the whole movie are when they put the masks on and they have to like fix
I
the
think
people's
some
faces.
of like the mech walker stuff is a little janky because it's they're obviously like green screened or rotoscoped in some way. Like, but it's the same with like fucking Iron Man, Tony Stark's head in the Iron Man suit. Like, it doesn't
No.
look bad, but you can just tell that the head was just popped on there, like, or the armor was just popped on there. Like, it's little stuff like that. That's not enough to take me out of the movie. The only thing that was like a production thing that took me out of the movie was, it seemed like it was really only in like the first third of the movie. There was a lot of times that I noticed that they were doing ADR dialogue. Like,
Yeah. I saw a couple of those.
like, and one of the scenes was literally when Michelle Rodriguez was like leading Jake, like just showing him her like plane, and like almost every line in that scene was ADR'd, and I'm like, it's like it's fine if you need to use ADR. Almost every single movie uses it, but like, it was noticeable ADR, and it was like 4 or 5 scenes in the first third of the movie. Then it disappeared, and I didn't notice it, but I noticed it at the beginning. But
I think it's
that being the only thing that I'm like, come on, guys. Like,
Yeah. No. I think it's probably because this movie was much longer, and then they had to like fudge some stuff to get it to make more sense.
they probably had to
With,
add
like,
some
with first
dialogue
act
to give
stuff.
some context and shit.
Yeah. But I am always surprised how often I can tell things are ADR'd.
Yeah.
Because you'd think that by now they'd kind of figured that out.
Well, the truth
You
is,
know?
there's probably a lot of ADR like, you're not going to notice not noticing ADR, right?
That's
so
true.
like, there's probably a lot of ADR we don't notice, but like you're saying, it is surprising how often I do notice it.
Yeah.
You like you said, you'd think that by this point we've got the technology to like match the audio perfectly,
Yeah.
but I don't know.
Wow. I don't even know where to go from this. I think what really stood out to me on this one was how reactive the environment is to them and how cool that is.
Yeah.
And just thinking back over like the last 26 years of my movie watching life, how I haven't really seen something like that before. Like something this
alive.
Yeah. A lot of sci-fi worlds are kind of desolate or slight twists on our existing world.
Yeah.
They are very rarely like completely new inventions. And I think part of that is because I believe the world of Pandora came to James Cameron in a dream, like when he was working on Terminator 2 or something.
Doesn't surprise me. I mean, Jake Sully literally says at the beginning he was like when, because I think he was in a coma or something when he got paralyzed or something, and then woke up and he had dreams that he was flying, which I guess is like kind of foreshadowing to him doing that on Pandora.
Yeah.
But maybe the same thing happened to James Cameron. He had a dream where he linked hair with a flying beast.
Maybe he when he was going down to visit the Titanic or something, the pressure fucked him.
Have you seen The Abyss?
I haven't.
That's a movie that like I've thought of putting on this podcast many a time. So I would love to do that movie.
I haven't seen most of his movies. I've seen Titanic, and I've seen the first Terminator, and I've watched half of Aliens. And that's about it. Yeah, because he did the second Aliens.
Yeah, but you've seen the entirety of Alien.
Well, we did it on the show.
Yeah, but you said I've only seen half of Alien. So I was like, that can't be true.
I don't watch the ones that you recommend.
Oh, okay. I hadn't seen that one yet. That was my first time watching it.
And I just made it up on the spot.
Yeah.
So I should probably go through and kind of clean that up. It's not like he has a ton of movies. Like, I think Fire and Ash will be his 9th.
But I think obviously people make fun of James Cameron for taking so long to make these Avatar films. I think that's part of what makes them so great. Is like, so much time and love and energy was put into this movie by so many people over so many years that like this is it's kind of like a few years ago, like Olivia and I watched the Disney Plus recording of the Eras tour, Taylor Swift. Not sure if you've heard of her, but it was this weird thing of a part of me was like,
I'm very not sure like if I have.
Okay, you don't need to. She's just like a small artist. But like it was this weird balance of, on one hand, I was like, wow, this is like
production value goes crazy.
Yeah, there's something about having so much funding put into like an artistic performance that's like, I love that this is something that can be done on this scale. But then on the other hand, I was like, this is very like the Capitol from the Hunger Games type shit, where I'm like, this is so frivolous, so much money put into this. Like, it's so over the top when this almost anything else could be put into this. Anyway, but
and it's so there's also a level of exclusivity to stuff like that as well, where it's like you can only get into a Taylor Swift concert if you're willing to pay $2,500.
Yeah,
and
you'll have to go like this the whole time to try and see.
Yeah,
yeah, but my main point being how I felt about like it being like, wow, what an opportunity that this kind of a thing can be made. I feel very much that way about the Avatar films, where I'm like, I also feel the same way about the Dune films, where I'm like, like, but mostly about Avatar, just because like they are such long projects.
I think Dune is like a step down.
Yeah.
Not in like
not in quality, but in like
yeah,
and
how much is invested in it.
Yeah. Because I watched this and I'm like, it is like how amazing that this can be produced, and I just get to watch it. Like this such high quality, high level art that has so many creative minds behind it that like care so much about making it good. I don't know. It's just very good.
I think that's the kind of the thing I love about movies is like, yeah, they spent $250 million on this, but like you could probably pick up the DVD at Walmart for like $7 now, and a family could watch this, and like a kid.
Dude,
could
whenever
see
I
this.
see a standard definition DVD for anything higher than $9.99, I'm like, what are
That's
we
a
doing, man?
rip-off. But like a kid could watch this for 100 times for $12-15
Yeah.
if he wants to get the Blu-ray. Like that's the thing about movies that I love.
Yeah.
And I know like there's a lot of like I think Denis Villeneuve said it when he was talking about for his last Dune press tour, where there's a lot of like hand wringing about the premium formats and like trying to get everyone to go see it in IMAX. And it's like, that's the best way to watch it. Unequivocally, the best way to watch any movie usually is to go to the theater and have a good time. Maybe not Arctic Dogs. That's probably more fun if we could watch it, you know, on the couch or something.
Yeah.
Stoned a little bit.
Yeah, definitely, certainly.
But the
We
thing
watched
makes
that
people
shit stone cold sober, didn't we?
with a family in the fucking in behind us, bro.
Yeah, man.
But then he was like, I fell in love with Jaws because I could just watch it. It was on TV all the time. And that's like, that's where like the cultural impact of films comes in. When you let people make things that are, maybe they'll cost a little bit too much money, but they're so good that people, I don't know, how many years later is it? 16 years later, watch it and go, number one, still looks fucking great. Moves like a bullet train through a plot that honestly shouldn't. The plot's not difficult, but none of this should make sense. We should not be able to be like, oh yeah, of course, he connects his hair to the horse and it works, and he's also then connected to like everything else in the world, and like they have this deep thing, and
the truth is,
AWA and all of this.
It's because you're right that the pacing is like a bullet train where they don't waste time, but I think the reason it works in the way you're saying, where we just accept and understand all these concepts of the world, is because while they are moving fast, they know when to take their time and like sit with a moment. Like they're montaging, speeding through Jake learning all this shit, but then they take some time to show us him finding his, I forget what they were called, but the flying things that like bond for life. Like we take our time with that scene because that's a scene that is teaching us a lot about Jake. It's teaching us about Neytiri and like Neytiri and Jake's relationship with each other. It's also teaching us about the world, giving us context for later like events. Like it feels like they know when to slow down, know when to go fast, and it all like works to serve each other. Similar to AWA, like, and the interconnectivity of the world, it feels like the movie itself is doing that, where it's like every piece of the movie is like serving another piece of the movie. And I'm honestly glad to have been proven wrong, having been a hater on this for so long.
Well, there was also this like social media campaign before The Way of Water. Not like it was organized or something, but where people were like, Avatar has no cultural impact. Yeah. I'm like, sure. It might not have had 16 movies and TV shows that came out like Marvel, or like huge entries into their decade-spanning franchise like Star Wars, which, unequivocally have more, cultural impact. They sell more merch, more people talk about them. There's more people
commercialized,
obsessed with the lore.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's how people were measuring cultural impact. Because Darth Vader because you've seen him 100,000 times.
Yeah.
Like, he's in commercials.
It's oversaturation because it's like Star Wars specifically, because I was going to bring up Star Wars as a comparison as well. Like, Star Wars is more a, like, what's the word I'm looking for? It's more of like a mainstay in like pop culture than Avatar is. Where like everybody knows, even if you haven't seen a single Star Wars film, everybody knows a little bit about Star Wars. There are people who don't know a fucking thing about Avatar, and that's fine. But like, I'm a massive Star Wars fan, and I think honestly, a lot of me not liking the first Avatar was because I was like, it doesn't deserve to be the highest grossing film of all time because of the 3D tech shit, which I like still believe to an extent, but I think some of that was because I was like, Star Wars deserves to be, because I was like fucking Star Wars pilled. But
every big franchise movie gets an advantage from premium formats and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, that's not very new.
But that being said, like, I'm a massive Star Wars fan, probably more than I'm an Avatar fan. However, like, there's a Star Wars area in Disney World. There's also a Pandora area in Disney World now. I'm like far more interested at this point in my life in going to the Pandora world, because I'm like, I don't really watch, at least the way Star Wars is now, I don't really watch Star Wars and go like, oh man, I feel like immersed, like I'm being pulled into this world. I want to be there in the way that I have with Avatar. And I think a lot of that has to do with its dedication to like getting deep into the people and characters and world and culture of like the story, which I think you could argue certainly that like Star Wars did at a certain point, to some extent, not to the extent that Avatar does, and certainly not modern Star Wars.
Well, like, my whole thing is, I would rather something be less commercialized and better than worse and more commercialized. Like, we need, again, as a guy saying this on a podcast, it's kind of ironic, but do we need 50 Star Wars podcasts?
And they've all got to have different fucking names. There's a reaction channel I used to watch. I still do once in a while. It's certainly not as much as I used to. But like, they started a Star Wars centric podcast, and they were like, the name of it, Badonka Gonk, after the Gonk droid that is a droid in Star Wars.
Is that the
and I'm like,
one?
We're at the point where we have so many Star Wars podcasts that one of them has to be named Badonka Gonk.
Yeah.
It's like, there's too much. No one on any of these podcasts is saying anything new. There was actually a point where I was going to start a solo, just like me alone Star Wars podcast. And I was actually proud of the name. I was going to call it the Mos Espa Podcast, named after the Mos Espa pod race.
Oh, of course.
So like there's kind of a tie there. And there's no podcast called that. And I was like, how has no one taken that?
Well,
that's actually really, really, really good.
Badonka Gonk.
Well, yeah, when Badonka Gonk's right there. Anyway, to get back on point, I agree. Like, I do think there is some relevance to Avatar hasn't had the cultural impact of a lot of these other, like, big franchise movies. That being said, one, I think that could change. People were saying that when there was one movie and it was released 13 years ago. Yeah. Like, now a second one's out, a third one is coming out, and there's, like, 2 more on the way, right? So I think that could change. 2, I don't really care about the cultural impact. They're good movies.
Yeah, like that's the bottom line, is that they're good, and also
And they make a fuck ton of money. So like,
yeah. So you can kind of
there's no downside.
Yeah, and the thing with the money too is like, you can't bet against James Cameron with anything.
Yeah.
So it just gives him more freedom for whatever he's going to do with Avatar or even whatever's next. Because Titanic was the highest grossing movie of all time. Avatar beat it. Endgame beat Avatar in 2019. I think Avatar then passed it again with like a China re-release. And then Way of Water is number 3 or something. He's got like 3 of the top 4 highest grossing movies of all time.
Yeah.
Like,
well, apparently, I saw an article where, like, apparently James Cameron was, like, having a really hard time convincing the studio to, like, let him make 2, 3, 4, and 5. And I think the concern was, like, the cultural impact thing where they were like, yeah, the movie, like, did well, but we don't think anyone's, like, itching to get to the theater and see it. And apparently his main argument was, like, you don't want, like, a surefire way to make another $1 billion.
yeah. If the movie does bad, it makes $1 billion.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Which I am curious how Fire and Ash is going to do, because I do think we're... Like, I'm curious how
I think it's
going to
be a bit of a drop.
I think it's going to be a little bit of a drop, but...
But also, I don't know, man. Normal people like these movies.
Yeah.
Which I don't think a lot of the people who are, like, in the chronically online fandom spaces realize is, like, people don't really fuck with Star Wars and Marvel like a lot of people think they do.
Yeah.
Like,
certainly not
your videos get a couple 100,000 views, but, like, I don't know, man.
Well, it's like we've talked about with Marvel, where it's like every Marvel movie's gonna make, like, at least $500 million probably.
Yeah.
Because there is
Unless
a dedicated
it's the
fan
Marvels.
base. Well,
Yeah.
because there's a dedicated fan base that is going to go see it. But, like, I regularly get, like, Reddit threads on my front page where it's, like, a Marvel subreddit, and they're like, how did Fantastic Four not make $1.5 billion? How? And it's like
'cause no
I
one
don't think you
cares.
realize, like, generally kind of widespread, people don't really care anymore. Like, yeah, there's a big group that's watching them, but generally nobody really cares anymore. Whereas, like, Avatar, I feel like, kind of similar to Fast and Furious, just to gas up your favorite thing for a moment, like, has international appeal where, like, they tried hard to push the new Star Wars trilogy, like, in China. Like, they tried so hard.
Yeah.
Star Wars has never been, like, a big thing in China. They, like, tried so hard to push it in China, and it, like, did better than the other ones, but, like, barely.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's just not a thing. Like, Avatar does well everywhere.
And there's so little homework because the movies are so well written. You can kind of even have an idea. Like, I think you could go into The Way of Water having an idea of what Avatar is and be like, okay, I kind of picked it up and we're good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't need to watch a bunch of shit to get this figured out. Anyway, we're talking about something bigger. I think since we should probably be ending soon. A couple of things I'd like to just hit on. Music is fantastic.
Yes.
Even though, you know, we're not inventing the wheel here, but, like, it fits perfectly. Always hits the exact emotional beat that you want it to.
Mm-hmm.
And that feeds into, like, the things with their love story between Jake and Neytiri, which is so well done and so subtle, because in a lot of movies of this size, they would kind of just have the people say whatever they need to say to fall in love with
certainly
each
modern
other.
movies, we kind of talked about this in Superman a little bit, where like, people are just saying
exactly
the context of the scene while also saying the context of their like character motivations and feelings. And it's like in this movie there's never a point where like Jake or Natiri are like, I'm thinking I might kind of be liking you now, or like something like that. You just, and it's crazy because it's all fucking CGI, but like you see it in their eyes. Like it's not even like the way they're looking at each other. It's like you see it in the eyes. Like Natiri will be looking at him, not move a single muscle in her face, and then you'll see her eyes communicate that she's like, I'm starting to like this man is starting to endear himself to me a little bit. Yeah. And it's like just incredible. Anyway, and there's makes it so much more satisfying when they actually do like kiss. Yeah. And they do have that connection. And you're convinced. Whereas with Clark and Lois, it's kind of like, yeah, they've been dating for a couple months, and kind of goes for almost any blockbuster romance. Yeah. They've been dating for a couple months, and, you know, he's gotten taken away into some sort of thing, and now she cares because he's not there, and, like, something bad is happening to a person. In this, you're like, oh, they've, like, fallen in love. Yeah. It's not like she's kind of should do this thing because it's the good moral thing to do. Where Lois is like, oh, where did Clark go? Like, if she was just like, where did Clark go? Oh, well. Then you just be like, what the fuck? Like, who is this person? Yeah. Which, like, there's literally a point where I think it's after Home Tree is destroyed. And Jake is, like, trying to comfort Natiri as she's grieving her father. And, like, she screams at him to leave. And then he's fucking ripped out of the machine, so his body goes limp. But there's a point where she's leaving, and she, like, looks back. You can kind of tell that she's, like... She knows that he's in there, and the tree's just burning down. And she, like, turns and walks away. So she, like, makes the conscious decision to leave him behind. And then later, when they, like, reunite, she's like... I'm so... Like, this is... these aren't her exact words, but she's essentially like, sorry, this was just so overwhelming. Like, I'm absolutely riddled with grief and so angry. Like, I just could not, like, comprehend the idea of forgiving you for bringing this upon us at all. But, like, that wouldn't happen in, like, a modern executive-led storyline where, like, what would have happened if that were true would be she'd look back and then she'd go back. Because it's like, we can't have one of our protagonists... lift him and... Yeah. It's like, we can't have one of our protagonists show a flaw. Which, that wouldn't even be a flaw. This guy is responsible for the destruction of this sacred home. But even then, you're kind of like, yeah, fucking leave him. Because that... like the bulldozing and the attack on the home tree is just so devastating. Unlike, and like, I don't think that he's a bad guy for like, by that point, I think that he is genuinely, earnestly like, I do not want this to happen. Like, I am fully on your guys' side. I want to stop them. But it's like, obviously they're learning this information for the first time, that he kind of knew that this was the end goal. So, like, obviously they're going to be upset. But anyway, I just really appreciate that, like, our 1B character, as far as, like... It's kind of Jake and the Natiri. Yeah. The fact that they allow Natiri to make the decision of, like, I am going to leave him behind because I'm so angry with him and I just do not care anymore. Like, that's just a decision that would not be made in most big blockbusters now. And I just love that, not just that specific moment, but just kind of cast across this movie and Way of Water. I just love that they're able to make that kind of decision. Like, Jake kind of sucking for part of this makes him being so fully committed to the Na'vi so much more satisfying and work so much
well,
better.
it's like an actual character arc. Like, I feel like part of me feels like the way we're talking about this, it's just like, this is what making a movie is and telling a story is, and we just don't get that anymore.
Yeah.
Like, if you
And
watch
it's just
Fantastic
it done
Four-
so well. is the
Yeah.
truth.
But you watch Fantastic Four, you don't feel anything the whole time, and it looks like shit, and it doesn't really make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And with
Like-
this, it looks incredible, is 16 years older, has actual character development and a story for nearly every main character in the movie.
Mhm.
Like, Neytiri also has a lot of changes. She becomes, like, less attached to whatever her predetermined path is throughout the whole movie.
Mhm.
Because she is supposed to, marry the guy and take over whatever.
Which
But she breaks off of that.
yeah. Even like
what?
Tsute, like who's the guy she was kind of in a going to be in an arranged marriage with, essentially. Like, even that character, he's kind of not the antagonist, but he's kind of like antagonistic to Jake for the first bit. But like, they don't even do a thing that most movies would do, where either he like last second changes his mind and sacrifices himself, blah blah blah, or like has some big like grandiose moment where he's like,
Yeah.
you know what, I realize I am with you, I do it.
Or, like-
it's literally like over time and through gestures and moments, like Jake respects Tsute. That is what leads him to like trust Jake. It's not Tsute comes to Jake and is like I just feel like a lot of the ways they do it, like you said, are just very much the way a movie should do it, which is just be interesting. But like, I imagine what like Avengers, Doomsday, or Secret Wars is going to be like. That's like the same level of blockbuster as this, but there's not a single chance at all that it's going to feel anywhere close to like being a film as this movie does.
I think a worse movie has Tsute and Neytiri. She's trying to get him after the home tree's attacked and his body's limp, and then Tsute comes in and he's like, I will now save you, or whatever. Like some weird bullshit like that, where like they're like, that is something that would happen in the Avengers.
Or like Jake goes to him and is like, okay, I'm like ready for you to lead, and then Tsute goes, no, I know now that you need to lead. Like that, like that's the kind of bullshit, stupid shit that most movies would do. But I think that's it. Like you're saying, a lot of the things we're praising are just being like, this movie does what movies should do. But I think I see that in movies. I just don't see that in big blockbuster, high budget, high produced movies. Like,
they've just kind of lost the sauce.
Yeah, like for some reason my mind immediately goes to the movie The Holdovers, which is one of my favorite movies, where I'm like, every character in that movie is flawed beyond belief. But like through the movie you learn to like care about each of them.
Yeah.
But that's not a high budget blockbuster.
Good storytelling.
Yeah. I then think of like the live action Avatar The Last Airbender show. And I'm like, they literally removed any character flaw that any of those characters had in the original show, which I think is also a bit of a Netflixism, but I think it's also just modern film and show.
Hopefully they buy Warner Brothers.
Oh God. But like, they just can't have a protagonist with a flaw. They can't have like a secondary supporting character with a flaw if they're a good character. And it's like, it's just truly thinking your audience is stupid. That's really what it is.
It's like the thing with the difference between Rey and Luke.
Yeah.
Luke in the first movie is such an annoying little fuck.
Yeah.
He sucks.
Because he's never done anything.
Yeah. And he's not really good at anything.
No.
But he learns to be good at something and like trust himself and be less annoying.
Yeah.
Rey isn't annoying, is and I'm not trying to do like the Mary Sue shit because it works with almost every other character
In it.
with every other character in those movies, whether it's like, what is it, Poe or Finn.
Yeah, everyone.
Like,
yeah.
they don't really have a bad thing about them, and they're pretty much good at everything.
Yeah,
And
the
you're just like,
biggest
so
character
what am
flaw
I
that
wa-
Rey
It's
has
the Rock,
is
it's
she's
the
a
Rock
little
issue.
she's a little mean to Finn
Yeah.
at first. Like,
It's like Dwayne Johnson's characters. They're never bad at anything. They're never in deathly trouble, and they never do anything wrong. And you're like, okay, what am I watching then? What is the exciting part of this movie? What's the interesting part of this movie? Where does this character go from here?
can I be
And the
honest?
answer is they go nowhere.
Big blockbusters most of the time in recent years have kind of given me the same feeling a little bit that AI slop gives me.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, this just feels like it was just produced to be a product and be consumed. Like,
Mhm.
there wasn't any sort of artistic love or care put into this at all. Like, I'm not saying nobody who works on an MCU movie.
No, they obviously care. And
yeah.
they're putting work into it, and they're not trying to make a bad movie.
No. But it's just a thing of, like, it feels like all of the, like, individuality of movies has kind of been removed. Where, like, I think of the most recent 6 MCU movies, and I'm like, they're kind of the same.
The only one that hit a slightly different chord is the Thunderbolts,
Yeah.
in my opinion. Because it's got, like, some actual, like, darker themes, but even then, like, characters don't change much. And it's because a lot of these big blockbusters are treated more like TV shows, where, like, the thing with you learn when you're, like, writing a sitcom or a drama is you can't have the characters change too much because they have to be the same character for the next episode.
Yeah.
Like, you can't have House all of a sudden be a nice guy. Right?
Yeah.
So now we're just watching movies that are kind of written by a ton of people, which anytime you get like 20 people, from producers to writers to directors, or even more, like hundreds of people touching on a thing, it does kind of devolve it down into AI slop feeling. Whereas like Avatar has like a person helming it who has the freedom to like be like yes or no, and he's very skilled and one of our great directors. But then also there's the mandate to be like, well, they've got to be in. Spider-Man has to be in Homecoming and No Way Home and whatever. So he kind of has to be the same Spider-Man throughout all of them. Like Brand New Day, they're doing a different version of Spider-Man, but it's still gonna be the same.
Well, that's the thing.
guy.
I was literally going to use that example. Like, first of all, I agree that they like kind of can't really make a good individual movie because it needs to tie into all the other shit, which kind of just results in a worse product 90% of the time. But also,
But all of sorry to interrupt you.
You know,
but all of that is like saying I need to shit my pants. Like you don't have to. Like they don't have to
shit
make everything tie into each other.
Yeah, you're right. Like that's a self like created problem for them. But I don't think they care because their movies are making money, but less money than I think they want.
I'm ready for Doomsday to flop.
Me too. I kind of don't really care to see it in theaters. But, we'll see.
I might see it week 3 or 4
if I hear that it's good, or if I hear it's a really shit.
Yeah.
But I think also like using the Spider-Man example specifically, like I was really excited about Brand New Day because I'm like, okay, like No Way Home ended by resetting the character so that you can like commit to a on the ground level like neighborhood Spider-Man that's like starting from scratch, is like kind of alone, like you can kind of start this new thing. And then I hear casting announcements, and it's like there's 2 or 3 other superheroes and Avengers in it, and there's about 4 villains in it also. And I'm like,
Yeah.
that's not what... Is that what anyone wants? And it's like, I'll watch these podcasts and clips of like Marvel fans talking about it, and they're like, really exciting that so-and-so's gonna be in it, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, are you actually excited that so-and-so's gonna be in it because you think it's gonna be good? Or are you just like, I guess we gotta be excited for this now? It's just very strange. It feels like I don't know. It's just a little frustrating and annoying. And I think a lot of the blandness also has to do with the fact that they kind of need all of the movies to fit within this, like all of the MCU movies need to feel like people need to know when they're watching an MCU movie that they're watching an MCU movie, which just makes it feel like, oh, this just feels like every other MCU movie. Mm-hmm. We were just kind of on an MCU rant, but generally about blockbusters, it kind of feels like that is true, where it feels like a lot of the heart and maybe even the soul is like kind of missing from a lot of these big blockbusters because they're so commercialized. They're so...
Well, you see something like Red 1 pop up on your screen and you go, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
Like, why would anyone want to watch that?
Yeah.
Truly. Why would anyone want to pay to watch that? Because The Rock's in... Like... Is it just because you have these names?
The only thing that made me like think about watching that was J.K. Simmons' Santa.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Looked up clips of it. And it was kind of they were shit. I mean, I expected them to be, but like I don't know.
Yeah. It's just I don't know. There's something about this movie that's like getting adrenaline in your veins when you're watching Avatar. And a lot of people kind of shit on it, but I think they just haven't seen it in a while.
Yeah.
Or haven't seen it. Because if you go into it and you're like open-minded, let's see what it is. It is a propulsive, incredibly built world with a main character who actually changes and you develop a care for.
Mm-hmm. And then
incredibly
through him
interesting,
develop a care for the
Na'vi people.
Yeah.
That's what you're going to say, right?
Which something I was going to say.
Try to finish your sentence.
Something I was going to say earlier. I hope that this won't be too much of an interruption. I maybe said this, but I think I started to say this and then didn't say my actual point. Like, the actual concept of this film is actually so interesting, way more than I like ever used to give it credit for. In that, like, it is a futuristic Earth. Corporation sends all these people, blah blah blah. They want to get this mineral, whatever. But like, ultimately, it's about like this human meeting an indigenous species that he can communicate with and integrate himself with from an alien planet light years away. Like, that just as like an elevator pitch concept is just so great to me. Of like, guy integrates himself in otherworldly planet, alien species, indigenous culture. I'm like, that is there's so much room to do, like, and that's why there's gonna be 5 fucking movies, but like there's so much room to like play in that idea. And I don't know.
And they haven't exploited it also. Like a lot of these other ideas. But and the idea that he goes to meet the species and then is overtaken by the beauty and like connection between them all, that is much greater and more valuable to him than some fucking money for literally a planet that he's never going to go back to.
Yeah.
Like,
which and like there's this Quaritch keeps like promising him he's going to like get the corp to pay for him to get his legs back. But it's like, what, he gets his legs back and goes back to dingy, shitty Earth? Like, when he's talking to Awa through the Tree of Life or whatever, he, like, says, look at Grace's memories. You'll see that, like, our home planet, they have no green. There is no life. Like, he's literally talking about his home planet as being shit.
Yeah.
Like, why would he want to go back?
He says something like they killed their god, or like they
Yeah.
killed their soul, or something.
He
like
killed
that.
their mother, I think is what he said.
Yeah,
like, as in Mother Nature, which I really love. But like, there's also a scene where Quaritch is like talking to him, and he's like, by the way, I got approval that you're gonna get your legs back. A shuttle's gonna leave later today. And then Jake is like, actually, I'm going to go back. I have a ceremony with the Na'vi. And Quaritch is like pissed off and leaves.
Yeah.
Like he was using the promise of legs to use Jake and then get rid of him when he didn't need him anymore. But it's like Jake doesn't need his legs. Second, he's got his legs as a Na'vi. Anyway, but what I was going to say is I also think that learning about the Na'vi and their culture through Jake works, and like the whole thing of him coming here and falling in love with the culture and the world and Awa and Natiri, like it all works even better since he's kind of just like a fucking dumb himbo jarhead marine guy. Like, he shows up there and he's like, I don't know what any of this fucking shit is. I guess I'm doing science. Is it like what he's fucking... And the fact that guy, especially, maybe this will lead us towards wrapping up, is like, especially at the beginning of Way of Water, like, you learn that he's like, really, like, he truly becomes one of them. Exactly. So, like...
Even though he has 5 fingers.
It works so well. It works so well.
Yeah. Do they mention in Way of Water the thing about avatars having 5 fingers and Na'vi having 4?
I think so, maybe. From what I remember, we'll see next week, but from what I remember, there's some sort of like mark on their ankle or like mark on their tail that indicates that they are not...
I feel like the fingers and toes would be a better way to tell, but...
Probably. All I remember is that one of their children has that mark. Not all of them do, but I think one of their children, I think the daughter has one of those marks, and is like ridiculed and shit for it anyway.
Do you think you could score on a Na'vi basketball hoop? I'm thinking it's about... They're 9 feet tall.
They're big fuckers. Can I be honest? You
I
give me a
think
ball, I'll probably get it in there.
Yeah, I guess the ball's probably bigger too.
It's not going to be a good shot. It's probably going to take me a lot of tries, but I'll probably get it in there.
I think it's probably 17 feet up.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
Like
you
2 stories?
definitely could. I don't think I think it would take me a while.
I'd dunk it.
Yeah, you'd dunk it for sure. I will say this.
Definitely higher than 17 feet.
It's definitely higher.
9. Oh, no, it's probably about 17 feet.
Like, I could granny shot it in after, like, 15 tries, probably.
Fair enough.
I did want to say, though, I know they literally have, like, Jake looking through, like, into the fucking tube at his avatar. They have, like... They have a bunch of things that show how big they are, but you don't really think about it. It's not until... Tsute jumps into the plane and starts beating up the humans in that jet that you're like, holy shit, these fuckers are huge.
Even like their arrows, they shot the one guy and pinned him up against the log.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh my god, that's like a whole tree trunk. Like, that thing's massive.
Yeah.
But
I love how
it is also just fucking sick, because it would also be easier for them to just make them human size.
Yeah.
So then they don't have to scale things up and down or really have to deal with like their interactions with people at all.
But it's cool as shit.
It's so
that they're big.
It's so cool. I'm excited to watch Way of Water. I haven't watched it since theaters. I
watched it twice in theaters. So I think only those 2 times, though. I don't think I've watched it at home yet. Yeah, I'm also very excited because I watched Way of Water. I was mostly going because I was like, oh, fun spectacle, blah, blah, blah. And then I left it being like, wow, I got to rewatch Avatar. But yeah, I don't know. I think we'll obviously get into it next episode, but I think Way of Water just like, obviously this is like high praise, but I think it's kind of to Avatar 1 what Empire Strikes Back is to A New Hope, in that like raises the stakes, expands the world like significantly from what the first movie did, and then like kind of ends with a bit of a low note, from what I remember. But yeah, I'm very, and it, to me at least, we'll see if this holds up, because now I have a higher opinion of the first one, but also is just like a massive step up from what I remember. So
yeah, we'll see. I don't really have an opinion on it.
We'll see. We'll
Yeah.
see. Did I have anything else? Oh yeah, I wonder what the Na'vi did with Jake's human body after they switched him over to the Na'vi body.
They probably buried him or something.
maybe just hung him up on Jake's. Jake hangs his old human body up on his mantle like a fucking moose head or something.
Hey, maybe, man. Maybe.
Skin his old body, make him a carpet.
Well, yeah, because you could make him like a bear carpet with the skull inside, so he's kind of like this, laying on the ground.
I don't think I
That
could
would
do
be
that.
sick.
I don't think I could, because here's the thing. Like I said before, this is the kind of world that I'm like, it makes me start going, oh man, I'd love to like do that. I'd love to be a Na'vi, and like I would certainly be like, if I got to that point, obviously be like, can you put me in the Na'vi body forever?
Yeah,
but
first
like,
day.
I don't think that I could have my human body as a rug. I think that would freak me out too much.
I think that's probably what most people would say.
Yeah, I think it'd be like, ugh, fuck, that's me. Ugh.
Also, in terms of scale, imagine how big Taruk Makto is to a normal person.
I know.
Or I guess Taruk Makto is Jake, but Taruk is.
Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway, we should certainly wrap it up. I think this is going to be our first 2-hour epi of the new season.
More
The new
Avatar
wave.
than intro.
Yeah, that's true. Barely, but
Oh, we got like an hour. And he's doing his Denzel. We got to do Equalizer, I think. There's
that's
no
fine.
other Denzel franchise.
Fences, maybe.
Yeah, okay. We could do when he does I think all of the plays he's done are by the same person.
I don't know. Anything else?
I don't think so, man. Sorry.
Sick.
Sorry.
I'm starting to get a little loopy.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody, for listening to or watching this episode of the podcast. If you like it, please give us a follow or tell your loved ones about it if you think they'd like it also.
And post us on the Avatar Rule 34s.
I think this is the third episode in a row you've mentioned Rule 34.
I didn't mention it on the Superman one, did I?
I think you went, why is there no Mephisto Rule 34? I've looked everywhere. Not Mephisto, Metamorpho.
Oh, okay. That's fair. Directors have motifs, like James Cameron with the sort of bionic suits people wear.
Yeah.
I also have motifs. You can finish it now. It's actually
Thank
bad,
you.
man.
Is it actually bad? I hope
mean,
it's
just
not
a
horrible in my mic.
high-pitched- It's a high-pitched ringing noise.
Thank you, everybody, for listening to this episode. We love you very much. We're excited for next week. Avatar Way of Water, and then after that, Avatar Fire and Ash. Very excited for that.
Wow.
Goodbye, everyone. Sleep tight, and don't let the bed bugs commit tax fraud or something. I don't know. Trying to come up with a joke.
All right, I'm going to stop recording.
Me too.